Introducing the archetype I'm least looking forward to playing against over the next few months, Shaddoll, featuring the cringy waifu herself, Winder. Yeah, I can't tell you how thankful I am this archetype takes quite a bit of brain cell to pilot, because hopefully it means it'll turn out similar to the Salamangreat situation, where despite this archetype being one of, if not the strongest decks at the moment, because it takes a little bit of IQ to function, and this community is typically filled with a bunch of glue eaters, hopefully it won't become that popular, and I'll be able to special summon more than one time a duel. But I am going to warn you now that this archetype in the hands of someone that's really invested the time into learning how to play the deck and is actually really solid at piloting it, it's probably the strongest deck in the game right now. It is early days, so maybe my opinion on that will change once the meta's developed a little bit and we've gone through a couple of tournaments, but as of now, this deck's looking incredibly strong. So without further ado, let me show you. So here's today's deck list. Now just a reminder before I get into the deck list, if you guys are enjoying today's video and want to see some more content just like this in the future, especially some more new box content, as I still have a couple videos up my sleeve, including potentially live twin, hungry burger stuff, maybe the Umbral horror skill and that kind of stuff. So if you want to see any of those videos or any more videos from me in the future, please don't leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel down below. Alright, let's jump into this list. So thankfully, I don't have to spend too much time talking about the cards in this archetype, considering there's not actually anything new in here outside of one new fusion monster, because obviously the main new additions to this deck list is just stuff that's been taken out of a skill and put into a box. So Shaddoll Fusion and your Schism are now available to you just to play in your deck list without having them tied to a skill. The only actual new card in here is your El Shaddoll App Cologne, or however you pronounce this thing. This card is really important for the deck for a whole variety of reasons. It's a great searcher. It's also a good way to sort of start your combos, because normally going first, or just trying to set up your turn 1 fields, you have to go through your El Shaddoll constructs basically every single time. But this card's sort of an alternative way to search and start off your turn, so it is pretty important to actually get a hold of at least one copy of this thing. And its effects, if this card is special summoned, you can target one face-up card on the field and negate its effects. Or if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add one Shaddoll card from your deck or graveyard to your hand, then discard one card. And keep in mind, the discard is via like a card effect, it's not for cost, so discarding any of your Shaddoll cards will just trigger their effects to whatever their effects are, searching or special summoning or whatever else. So that's pretty much it for the new stuff. Then we've got the brand new skill, Reign of Shadows. Reign of Shadows is pretty simple. You can reveal 2 cards in your hand that are Shaddoll cards, then add one Shaddoll card from your deck to your hand, and if only your opponent controls a monster, you can play one Shaddoll monster from your deck in face down defense position. Also, it has a bunch of Shaddoll monsters just added to the extra deck right at the start of the game, so that's why we're not playing many Shaddoll monsters in the extra deck, because the skill gives them to you for you. Also, because it gives you basically every different attribute under the sun, we've got Super Play in the deck. It makes a lot of sense now just because, yeah, you can Super Play just about every single attribute in the game. And that's basically it. The tech cards I'm choosing to run is Droplet, because it's obviously really good right now, and Nibiru because, well, it's also really good right now, and the skill doesn't restrict you, so yeah, without further ado, let's check out some gameplay. Alright, so fair warning, what you're about to witness is not going to be optimal Shaddoll gameplay. Unfortunately, I'm just one of the glue eaters I mentioned at the start of this video. My IQ is way too low to be playing this deck at an optimal level, so what I want you to take away from these replays is just a general consensus of just what this deck can sort of do. Yeah, my brain is just way too smooth to be playing it at some Giga Brain IQ level or some shit, so without further ado, let's check out these replays. Alright, so I can't quite remember which replay is what at this point. It's all been a bit of a blur. My brain's kind of just been decimated playing this archetype for however long I did, so yeah, let's just get into it. Alright. So I'm pretty sure this is probably the strongest archetype out of all the latest stuff. It may even be the strongest deck in the game right now. I was watching some tournament play earlier of this archetype, and it just seems so goddamn unbelievably good in the hands of someone that's really, really good at the game, so I suspect this will be one of the topping decks in the upcoming WCQ. I won't be surprised if it's not even the winner of it, so yeah. Right, Reign of Shadows, revealing 2 Shaddoll cards in hand to search for my fusion spell. Going to be placing a level 4 spellcaster on field so I can link it into a light monster, so I have enough material to make a copy of El Shaddoll Construct. sending some cards to the graveyard with Construct and drawing a card with Beast. Summoning a removal source. You can also summon, if I had the fire monster still in deck, I could also summon this to the field. Because either one, if you want to have a face down monster to use during your opponent's turn, thanks to the trap cards in graveyard, it's good to have either the destroy effect or the banish effect. Either one, depending whatever you're up against. Alright. So linking it off so it goes to graveyard so I can add back the spell, setting some stuff and passing. Alright, up against an archetype I don't want to use the graveyard against when this thing's on the field. But this card, thankfully, because of how it sort of chains, he gets a chain first, then this thing will chain if I use the trap card, which you'll see in a bit. But first of all, I just make a window so I can, if he tries to special summon from hand, he can't do so. Although he's playing Schemata, which is actually a way to summon from hand, because it's a normal summon, I think. Alright, flee my monster, which then triggers the effect of his thing, but thankfully I can chain in response to that. Removing his monster. Gonna Shaddoll Schism to summon out another monster, and he's already conceded, because I was gonna summon a light monster, so I can remove whatever light monster he tries to summon. Alright. Replay number 2. So I'm pretty sure my brain's already melting from just that replay alone. I mean, if this deck gets into a long-ass grind game, my god, your timer goes down to absolutely nothing. Even, thank god for the new timer changes, because you would have no chance to play this shit without it. Timer gets so goddamn low. You activate so many effects in a turn. Alright. So once again, revealing 2 Shaddoll, searching for a Schism. Putting this on field for me at face up to search for the missing spell card. Linking off into the Maiden, now I can fuse. Construct going to be sending to graveyard, summoning a card to the field. Making a gravity controller. Basically the same sort of... This is a very, very general sort of Shaddoll combo. It's super basic. There's definitely way more ways you can extend and set up things differently. Because I searched for like the... I searched for this at the start of the turn. You probably don't need to do this. I could have searched for a way to maybe summon out the app cologne on turn 1 and search for it via that way or some method. I don't know, this is probably not the most optimal way to do it, but it's good enough. It's kind of like the old method. This is what you did for the previous version of Shaddoll. I just sort of replicated what I used to do. Alright, summoning window when he tries to special summon, so he can't special summon for the rest of the turn. And I think he just concedes after that, yeah. So that's just a very general game plan of what you can set up. Alright, up against, this was Utopia, and I think this was a pretty fun replay, I think. So I think this involved a very, very big rock. Alright. So showing 2 cards in hand, grabbing a Schism once again. Putting this on field so I can make the Moon Maiden. Shaddoll Fusion, gonna be summoning out Construct. Yeah, I think a better play sort of would be, instead of searching for Schism, I should just search for like one of the different attributes and then just going for summoning this guy. I think I do that in a later replay actually. Because I think searching for Schism like this is not really the way to do it. Either way, it still ends on a decent enough end field, so whatever. Construct, grabbing the trap card back this time because I don't have the spell card. I get Lava Golems, which is a little bit annoying. But I decide, alright, I know how this deck functions. This shit is kind of actually hard to use Winder against, because the second Winder hits the field, they can use their skill to put the guy on field, activate the spell card, and then just sort of negate it. So if I activate Winder before he summons these guys, he just use the skill and negate my stuff. And these cards don't summon via like a card effect, so it's really hard to get a Winder in here anywhere. So I'm like, whatever, you summon whatever you like. I've got my game plan right here. You gotta be careful with Nibiru in this deck though. Nibiru is really good in this format in general, which is why I'm using it. But keep in mind, if you Nibiru your opponent's field, obviously you won't have a monster on field, so when you activate your skill, it won't place a dude on field. I activated the trap card here because this thing I think only does burn damage when the card's face up. So I didn't want to take some burn damage. I think that's what this card does. Yeah, so keep in mind, when you put the token on field, it means, or even just summoning your dude to your field from your Nibiru, your big rock, it means your skill can't activate to get the Shaddoll monster on field, so that means only your opponent control a monster to do that, I'm pretty sure. You still get your search, but you just don't get to put a monster on field. Also, obviously, your opponent won't have an extract monster on field anymore if you've nuked it with a rock. Alright. Yeah, I think with this deck going around, stuff like Nibiru is probably a must currently. I think this deck do whatever it wants is not a good idea. Alright, try to end the main phase, so I'm going to pop his card. He's going to Cosmic Cyclone, I'm going to use my Schism. Not sure why I didn't just set the Cosmic and use it when I went to use the, this card's effect or something, I don't know, either way. Alright, where are we up to? This one, Fleur. I think this is actually another Nibiru game, actually. Can't remember if I went first or second in this one, though. Going second, alright. This deck is completely fine going second, because just being able to search for Shaddoll Fusion is obviously just fantastic. There are some ways people can play around it, like if you try to use Shaddoll Fusion and your opponent Book of Moons their own monster, and they no longer have an extra monster on field, it can become a little bit awkward. I guess guys have a weird field. He's playing like, he's playing Fleur, Invoked Fleur, but he, instead of setting up like the field that I normally set up, he went for a bit of an odd one. Power of the Guardians searched for. And then he sets up this to make the level 9 Synchro, the unaffected level 9 Synchro using the Axel. And he searches for a copy of a card to equip to it, so this thing. So I guess that is an option you can do. So Caliga, ready to make an unaffected level 9. This dude and the equipped dude in hand to equip to the Roland during my turn, I think is what he plans to do. So I'm going to use Nibiru here. He's going to make himself unaffected, so he does keep one monster on field, but all the others disappear. An interesting game plan. I don't think, I'm not sure how much I like it, but it is a game plan. Alright. So Shaddoll Fusion, going to be summoning out the Construct. Sending a card to the graveyard, summoning a monster to the field. We're flipping this to potentially banish something on field, force out whatever this hand trap thing is. Actually, did I just use that trap card? I don't think why did I use the trap card for that? I'm pretty sure, wait, I set this thing with a skill, right? I could just manually flip this face up. Didn't I set that was with a skill? Or did I not? Oh no, I set it with the Wendy. Did I set any monster? I don't know. I give up. Let's keep going. I've already forgotten what I did. Alright, Forbidden Drop, we're gonna be negating this guy. Alright, Christia gonna be adding back. Super Polymerization, using my opponent's token to make a construct. And yeah, he's just dead on field. Alright, yeah, got a bit lost as to what I did there. Dude, I'm so tired. I spent all morning playing this archetype. I don't know if you can tell, but it's kind of worn down on me a bit. My small pea brain couldn't cope. Doesn't help if I was only slept like 4 hours or something. Had so many new box decks to learn over the last few days. My god, my poor brain. I was also trying Speedroid this morning as well, so I had, oh my god, 2 new decks in one morning. My brain cannot cope. So now looking at dueling book replays to learn the Speedroid combos as well. My god, my poor brain. It's been overloaded. Alright, so here's an example of starting with App Cologne as a start instead of trying to go for the other fusion. Alright. So Incarnation, going to be flipping face up. I can now search for a Schism. Linking off into Gravity Controller. Any card back to hand and discarding. I don't think I particularly played this perfectly, because I think I should have linked this off earlier, and instead of sending this to the graveyard, I should have, well, I had to press on that because it was the start of the turn, right? Yeah, never mind. Yeah, whatever, it's fine. Good enough. Not perfect, but good enough. Alright, up against a Dragon Maid. So Dragon Maid's a little bit annoying, because their trap card, as you'll notice in this replay, he never activates the trap card till, like, I don't know if he even takes an entire replay, because he's waiting for me to use Schism, then use it in response to Schism to obviously like negate it. So, because it's a continuous effect. So I have to make sure against like this art type, I need Shaddoll Fusion on field and this, so I can fuse using this spell instead, so he can't negate the fuse. Alright. So I get Shaddoll Fusion, summoning out Winder. Normally I put it in defense, but I've got the droplet here so I can defend it. Tries to swing in, negate his dude, and now he destroys his own monster. And of course he couldn't special summon more than once, because I used it in response to his fusion spell, so he couldn't even use whatever this thing does and swap it out, or however else this art type does things. Alright, returns my monster to hand, so I can't pop his. I activate Schism, because I know he has no longer a Dragon Maid on field to use with it, so I can just summon whatever I want. Summon in a construct, send in some stuff. Banishing the cards from his graveyard, which would have banished his boss monster and any like follow-up trap cards or whatever. He was pretty dunzo. Alright, so what we got next? We've got Resonator and whatever that last archetype is. Dragon Link thing. Alright, or Burrow, I guess. I shouldn't say Dragon Link anymore because the other art type is sort of more close to Dragon Link. Alright. Mr. Lucas over here. So, I think I went first with this guy, did I? No, he went first. Alright, so fast forward his turn a little bit. Fat Nibiru in hand. I think I nearly lost this, actually. There's no way I should have nearly lost this. Like, I must have played super badly. There's no way a Nibiru on a Resonator player with this deck should be as hard as it was. Alright. Gains some life points, makes these level 9. Summons another dude back. Blah 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 blah. Vomit out your hand. And then before he can use his skill to search for the card, I'm going to Nibiru him. He can extend a little bit further here if he wants to, but at least he doesn't get the trap card. He can't really extend it too much, just sort of, yeah. I just could have flipped that token face down if I wanted to. Or that Nibiru and kept it on field. Maybe that would have been good. Alright, also, neither of these two are summoned from the extra deck, right? One was summoned from Grave and one was summoned via the skill, so I can't even use Shaddoll Fusion. It's weird, because the skill, like, takes the card from the extra deck, puts it on the field, it's treated as being special summoned, but it's not treated as being summoned from the extra deck. Like, it came from the extra deck, it's treated as being special summoned, but it's not treated as special summoned from the extra deck. Whatever, man. We had this problem with our Burrow actually ages ago. The exact same issue. Anyway. So, summoning out the Christia. He's going to negate my summon, he's a Skullmeister. Which is a little bit annoying, not gonna lie. As you can see, because we used the Appa Cologne, I think it was, to draw a discard. Yeah, we use Appa Cologne for the search for discard. We can send this and potentially pop this. Unfortunately, there's a thing in graveyard to protect it. I don't know why I didn't realize he had that, because that's like... They always have that. I need to banish the graveyard first, which I could have done. Yeah, I should have waited on it, because I could have designed literally the reverse order here, because I end up banishing his graveyard anyway. So I could have had this thing off field, which would have been infinitely better. Shaddoll Fusion, summoning the construct, and now I send the graveyard banisher, so I should have just done the other order. Definitely the biggest misplay I made here, for sure. Swinging to his card, it comes back again, so it's absolutely nothing. Searching for the security, obviously I have to use my effects now, otherwise, yeah, we're gonna have some problems. Summoning Winder to send his card to graveyard. Fortunately, no card in hand for Super Poly, but it turns out, because he's already used this thing's effect now to search for that card for whatever reason, and he's got no follow-up in graveyard, he had to pass. Not gonna lie, I thought I had lethal here, but I forgot that Schism stops you being able to attack directly with the monster you summon. So slight panic here, but it's fine, because I can just get a card in hand for the Christia. There's like nothing left in extra deck to... There's no dark monster left in here, or fire monster, so Super Poly is actually kind of dead. But this card at least is a negate for any special summon he tries to do. And because it's a negate of the special summon, it technically counts as being negated before it hits the field. So he doesn't get the effect of the Gaia. He can't synchro summon, he just gets negated. Alright, final replay up against Borrel. I played that so badly in that replay, my god. Alright, up against Mr. Varus. Alright, so I wanted I just spent a while at the very end when I was just looking, I ended up conceding a whole bunch of games in a row because I was literally trying to get one singular replay showing off how to set up the Abyss Dweller, because Abyss Dweller, it's a really cool little setup, but I wanted to get a matchup where I was against Link that actually uses the graveyard, so I had to concede a whole bunch of games until I found a matchup that actually uses the graveyard. Not sure why it took so long to find one. But I was like, yeah, Borrel sort of uses their graveyard, I'll set up Abyss Dweller versus this. So the cool trick to setting up Abyss Dweller is all about the new card. Which I realized during the deck list portion, I didn't actually mention it because I forgot this card was new. This card, the Ariel. So we can use the effect to flip this face up, and this card actually has an effect that isn't just banishing things from the graveyard. It can also be used to bring back stuff from the banished pile. So what you want to do is somehow get a level 4 in the graveyard, then use the effect of your incarnation to banish that level 4, flip this thing face up, and it can revive it to the field. 2 level 4s make Dweller. This is very, very important for the mirror match. Because Abyss Dweller is obviously insane versus Shaddoll. So I'm not sure if I should have been setting this up specifically versus Borrel or anything, but I just wanted to set it up to show off this particular replay. Show off this is like you can set up versus these decks. Also, I'm not even sure if the skill has any limitations on setting up things like Utopia double and stuff, so if you want to set up the Utopia combo, you might even be able to do that in this deck, I'm not even sure. If you can, that'd be very funny. Just set up a big Utopia double negate, because why not? I don't know. I saw some people setting up like an Exosystem, which is funny. Alright, so responds, of course, summoning Winder. Sends this to the graveyard, forces this thing to still summon, so he can't special summon for the rest of the turn. Get rid of his tuner. Yeah, I don't know why I put this in defense, should have been an attack, but it doesn't really matter. Alright, I can revive back, he's having none of it. Alright guys, that's going to do it for today's replays. Hope you guys enjoyed them. I apologize if they're not exactly up to par with the most insane Shaddoll gameplay around, but hopefully you enjoyed them all the same. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you see the next one. There should be Burger video tomorrow, maybe, I think. Or maybe Live Twin or something. Might try out the Umbral Horror deck too. I haven't even tested that stuff yet, so we'll see how that goes. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you see the next one. Laters.
Hey, big brother, can I watch SpongeBob? Shut up, Mokuba. I'm busy flagging YouTube videos to compensate for the fact that I have an extremely small penis. Oh.